captain's hook and is your new cruiserweight champion, which afterwards, I'm not sure if you watched Raw talk, but did you see Kendrick and Booker T get into it?
Yeah, I did, and I thought that was quite interesting. By the way, we are now online on YouTube. I want to apologize for being so late getting the stream up. We've had some technical issues, and hopefully everything will be sorted out. So again, if you want to call into the show tonight, guys and gals, you see the number is 337-366-8951. Be sure you press 2 when you get to take you directly to us. Again, that's 337-366-8951. Again, press the number 2. And I think our fan Corey doesn't realize, because I think when we're back here, we're on channel 16, not channel 15.
Possibly so. It's usually he figures it out.
Yeah, so if you guys have anything you would like to talk about, we definitely want to hear what you guys have to say, or you can log into youtube.com/WrestleGamer and get into our chat room, and we'll definitely talk with you there. And I got to say, there's some very interesting news when it comes to the cruiserweights, Nick. I'm not sure if you're aware of this. There's a new weekly series coming that will feature them.
I did see that.
Yeah, called 205 Live, as noted by Mauro Ranallo on Twitter. Ranallo also informed everyone that he will be the lead announcer on that show, while also maintaining his position as lead announcer on SmackDown Live. So possibly now, Nick, with their, and I think that's Corey right there. Corey, you there?
Whoa.
Yeah, yeah, we're on a different channel, I think, this time now, aren't we, Corey?
I got you.
Yeah, but how about this, Corey? Got some exciting information for you. There's going to be a feature. There's going to be a show coming to the network that'll feature just the cruiserweights in WWE, and it's called 205 Live.
205 what? 205 Live?
205 Live.
When that's going to start?
That's going to start on November 29th. At 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which I believe would be 9 o'clock our time, I think. I believe I'm getting my time zones correct right there.
Which I've been saying they've been needing to do that and have the women need to have their own show, like, you know, and take the place of superstars and main event and all that crap. You know, I mean, just let the women have a show, let the cruiserweights have a show.
Yeah, they need to split it up.
And not only that, Ronaldo's color commentator for the show will be Corey Graves, which would kind of explain why Corey Graves and Mauro Ranallo were calling the Hell in a Cell
Which
kickoff.
I think is your best combo in the commentary staff.
Yeah, this is what Triple H had to say about 205 Live. He said, quote, 205 Live is a natural progression to showcase the depth of our roster with world-class talent such as Brian Kendrick, TJ Perkins, and Rich Swann. 205 Live will be a must-see program on the WWE Network, and I got to agree with him right there.
Well, if it's anything like the Cruiserweight Challenge, I agree, and if it does anything to help build these characters, that'd be great.
And it's going to be a tournament like or what?
There's going to be another tournament, but it's not going to be with the cruiserweights, Corey. This is some more information that an NXT women's tournament has actually been confirmed, and it will be in the style of the Cruiserweight Classic, in a sense, and it'll be giving female independent talents a chance to come into the WWE, much like the cruiserweights did. And they're going to. Yeah, because there are a lot of great independent female talent out there that deserve a shot. You know, if you ever watch Shine or Shimmer or any of the local or independent talents out there, they deserve an opportunity. So having this women's tournament really is going to be a huge opportunity for a lot of women out there.
Now, when this women's tournament going to start?
That has there is no confirmed date as to when that's going to start yet. But again, for 205 Live, the actual confirmed date again is November 29th at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I gotta say, maybe with now having their own show, Nick, they won't be toned down as they are on Monday Night Raw.
Well, I hope so.
And what date is going to be? November 29th?
November 29th.
That's going to be on Friday?
I can check on that real quick for you, Corey. November 29th is a Tuesday.
It's a Tuesday, all right.
So that
SmackDown.
Yeah, so more than likely after SmackDown.
Oh, so that's going right after SmackDown.
Yeah, and that's going to be on the network.
Oh, okay.
So what does that do to Talking Smack? Does that get rid of Talking Smack, or will they feature Talking Smack then they go to the show?
Y'all know what I rather watch? Raw Talk.
Really? Are you talking about like from what happened at Hell in a Cell, the debut of Raw Talk with Brian Kendrick and Booker T?
Yeah.
What did you think about that?
I wanted Booker T to beat him. Because Brian Kendrick, what Booker T was saying, he didn't win that belt on his own because he cheated. They could have left Kendrick Perkins with that belt.
Yeah.
Yeah, were you a little disappointed that Kendrick got himself counted out the next night on Monday Night Raw in the rematch?
Yeah, I was. But like Booker T said on Raw Talk, Booker T said he should have did that on his own.
Well, it's going to be pretty interesting to see where WWE goes with Kendrick and TJ Perkins, because Kendrick and Perkins are right now the only cruiserweights in WWE that actually have any character development.
So they ain't got no other cruiserweight?
I think they might be saved. No, there are other cruiserweights, but when it comes to like storyline development and character development, Corey, I think WWE might be holding off on that until they 205 Live.
Well, and Rich Swann kind of has created some for himself.
And that's one thing that puzzles me, is last week, Rich Swann went over on Kendrick on Monday Night Raw. They put the title on Kendrick at Hell in a Cell, so why hasn't Rich Swann received a championship match?
He needs to, because he is very good.
I think it's heading toward a triple threat for them, but this past week on Hell in a Cell, we saw history being made with the women having the first Hell in a Cell match ever.
Yeah.
How long do you think it is possible? Do you think it is possible that? Do you think it is possible that? Corey, can I finish my question, please?
Yeah,
Thank you.
He was.
Okay. So do you
Hey, you're only heel at GCW, not here, man.
Well, I mean, I'm trying to get a word in here. But is it possible we see a Queen of the Ring or a Women's Money in the Bank title match?
I don't know what y'all think.
I wouldn't be surprised if they do a Women's Money in the Bank ladder match. Considering, if they start to get more women into the roster,
And
they could do it.
If they do that, I have my pick.
You just said doo-doo.
But think about this. If they could, there's a lot of NXT talent, female talent that they could call up to do something like this.
And hold on, my baby coming back too.
You talking about Mickie James?
Yes, sir.
I don't know. As much as I like Mickie James, Corey, I love Asuka more.
She going after Asuka. I think Asuka title ran over.
I don't know, man. As much as I am a fan of Mickie James and what she's done and what she's accomplished, both in TNA and WWE. By the way, TNA is kind of a sinking ship these days, but we'll get to that in just a few minutes. I gotta say, I love Asuka more. I like Asuka. She's hot. She's exotic. She's dangerous in the ring. She can bend you into the good and bad pretzel. The bad pretzel will probably make you scream for help. Don't ask me to explain that, Cord, because even I don't understand that. But I gotta say, was a good friend of mine from the Vinnie Mac show here on YouTube is in the chat room. His name is Osiris. Osiris, what's up? And if you can, in the chat, put your thoughts in about Asuka and Mickie James and where you see that going. And I'll read your comments here on the show. I don't know. Let me just say this, Corey. And this is gonna be public, but I think Asian women are really hot.
They are.
Yeah, and that's one of the reasons why I like Asuka so much. She's got that hotness factor. She's epic. She actually knows how to work in the ring, which is a really, really good plus in my opinion.
Not to get off the subject, but my thing is, y'all know who I cannot stand?
Who's that?
Remember the one we were talking about? The one you see can't wrestle?
Eva Marie?
No, not Eva Marie, the other one. The one that was with Charlotte.
What's her face? I can't even. Her name escapes me. She lost to Bailey on.
Dana Brooke.
Dana Brooke, yes. I feel stupid now.
Damn, Dana Brooke.
And you notice something about Dana Brooke? I don't know if you caught this, Corey, but I definitely did. She doesn't look to be in the same shape as she was when she was in NXT. You know, in
That's
NXT.
another thing, man. She do not. When I watch her wrestle, she do not have no moves.
I think she still needed more time in NXT, to be honest, because I think they needed to work with her more. They needed to have a more set move set for her. You know, really work on her character and whatnot. And I just don't. And Nick, I don't know if you agree with this or not, but I just personally don't think Dana Brooke was ready to be called up to the main roster when she did.
Sucks.
All I'm saying, they need to take Dana Brooke and put her on SmackDown because she cannot wrestle at all.
Oh, she would get made into mincemeat on SmackDown Live. Osiris has a couple of comments. He says, I think they're setting up to bring Asuka up to Raw. I'll tell you what, that would be huge for Monday Night Raw, to say the least, to have a talent the level of Asuka on your flagship show. And I don't care how bad the show gets. Monday Night Raw for years has always been known as the flagship show. You know what I mean, Nick? And Osiris has a very good comment right there, a very good thought. You know, possibly Asuka being called up to Monday Night Raw.
Yeah, I mean, they can use her on Raw.
Nice to see her on there.
And Osiris's other comment is Asuka and Mickie James sandwich. We'll leave that to everybody's imagination. And Osiris, I know Osiris has a very vivid imagination. And that's in the good way, Osiris. That's what I'm saying, in the good way, brother. You know what I mean?
No trivia?
Well, pertaining to Hell in the Cell, and this spans way back, but I'm going to ask you about the very first Hell in the Cell match. Who was in the very first Hell in the Cell match? One is a Hall of Famer. The other one is a bona fide Hall of Famer.
I don't think I saw Michael.
That is correct.
Go ahead, Corey.
That is correct. And I believe that's also when they debuted. Kane was at that Hell in the Cell, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I remember that.
So, again, a little bit of Hell in the Cell trivia to kind of, cap off Hell in the Cell, Corey. Well, Corey, it was great hearing from you, man, and we'll talk to you. Well, we won't talk to you next week because next week we're going to have a special guest doing a phone interview with us. So tune into that and listen for Vinny the Guido. It's going to be a very interesting conversation, Corey.
All right.
All right, Corey. We'll talk to you. We'll talk to you later, man.
All right.
All right. Peace.
All right.
So again, next week, Vinny the Guido will be here live via the phone lines, and we'll definitely be talking to him and getting a chance to pick his brain about some of the current goings on in the wrestling industry. But I gotta say, again, my last final thought about Hell in the Cell. I thought for what it was.
We haven't even talked about the tag match or the women's match yet.
Well, the tag match, I think, was pretty self-explanatory. WWE is not going to drop the titles off the New Day until they break the record.
And they keep on having New Day act like heels and cheating, trying to cheat to
considering
win.
how they were in the social media lounge, it was quite odd, to say the least.
Yeah, and they were really being mean to Michael Phillips.
Tom Phillips.
Or Tom Phillips, whatever.
Yeah, but anytime somebody's mean to Tom Phillips, who sucks as a commentator, it's okay by me. He makes Mike Adamle seem like a good commentator. That's how much I don't like Tom Phillips.
Yeah, he does suck.
And I keep saying it for years. If I ever meet Tom Phillips at the WWE Performance Center, I would commentate circles around him. And Nick knows what I'm talking about. I can do it.
And better than Tom Phillips. Yeah, so New Day gets disqualified, I guess.
It was weird. It was a weird finish, if you think about it.
I thought it was weird Kofi wasn't even in the match.
Yeah, it was Xavier Woods and Big E. Just to clarify for everybody out there who didn't watch it.
It's Kofi's hometown.
Yeah. Well, he's from Boston?
Yeah.
Wow, I had no idea.
He said that before the match.
Okay, but the finish was Sheamus was on the outside, had Francesco too, knocked out Big E with it, and tried to do the same thing to Kofi. Kofi ducked and hit the Trouble in Paradise. But at the exact same time the referee was disqualifying Cesaro and Sheamus for that, Xavier Woods was tapping out to the sharpshooter by Cesaro.
Right, and so Cesaro thought they were winning.
Yeah.
Which kind of prolongs their feud. But, yeah, the Hell in a Cell Women's, I thought it delivered.
Osiris says Tom has the personality of an iguana. I think that's an insult to iguanas everywhere, Osiris.
I'd agree. But women delivered. They had some good spots, good main event. First time they've ever main evented a pay-per-view. First time they've ever Hell in a Cell'd. Charlotte is basically delivered at this point. Last year, at this time, I was not a Charlotte fan. I didn't think she was over. I didn't think she was doing a good job as a babyface. But she makes great heel.
Yeah, and from what I heard, the decision of that match was changed at the very last second. And the reasons I believe they stated were the fact that they wanted to keep the pay-per-view streak, the winning streak of Charlotte intact as they push her towards Bayley and have her and Bayley feud over the Raw Women's Championship. And that has the makings for a really great feud.
It really does. And these two, I mean, like between Sasha, Bayley, Charlotte, I mean, they basically been going at it for the last 2-3 years now. So they've got each other down. They're going to have some good matches.
Well, earlier on YouTube this week, I gave Hell in a Cell a 3 out of 5. What did you think about it, Nick?
I'd give it a 4 out of 5.
So you enjoyed it a lot more than I did.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was a pretty good pay-per-view for Raw. I mean, because Raw's been sucking lately. I thought Clash of Champions kind of sucked. So needless to say, at least it's a ray of light, a ray of hope for Raw.
Yeah, Osiris says, you know my thoughts on the women's match. Yes, on the Vinnie Mac Show podcast on YouTube, he was very vocal that he was absolutely against the women's match. He didn't like it. He didn't think the performance was up to par, up to snuff. And, you know, all I'm going to say is I kind of refuted that on my channel. Osiris, I don't know if you had the opportunity to watch that video, but, you know, my thoughts on that match were on that video. So if you guys want to see what I had to say about it, just go to youtube.com/WrestleGamer for that. But before we get to Monday Night Raw, we got some very interesting TNA news and more roles for not only TNA, but Billy Corgan, as they continue to have issues with each other. This past Monday, Corgan's request for a temporary injunction against TNA was denied in Nashville, Tennessee by the Nashville Chancery Court. Not only that, but his temporary restraining order against TNA has been dissolved. Now, what the ruling means, ladies and gentlemen, is that Corgan will not get control of TNA. And the current management, which consists of Impact Ventures, LLC, Dixie Carter Salinas, Sergey Salinas, I hope I'm saying that correctly, and Dean Broadhead, can make any decision regarding the company without Corgan's approval. However, TNA still has to repay their debt to Corgan, which now stands at $1.8 million that he loaned them, unless he decides to convert that debt into a 36% ownership stake in TNA. Now, this gets even more controversial and more bad news about TNA. The $1.8 million debt was supposed to be repaid by November 1st. But according to Billy Corgan, TNA has not repaid that debt. He said this on Twitter, quote, "Fact, TNA was supposed to pay me 2 days ago, which they swore to in front of a judge. Yesterday, they asked for a day to get the money together, upon which, yesterday or today, they'd reach out directly to settle all claims. So they lied again and have used the time as a weapon. Fact, I have still not been paid, and I'm exploring all remedies, including new filings with the court and converting to 36% equity, which would mean the stake, the controlling stake. Well, not a controlling stake, but a stake in the company. And today, Osiris, if you want to put in your reactions to that, I'll read them out for the stream. But Nick, what's your reaction to that? This whole situation with Billy Corgan and TNA.
I'm sure Billy's probably regretting putting his money in that. The company is basically falling apart, and I don't think they're going to be able to survive. They should take Vince's offer. They should take Billy Corgan's offer at this point. But I don't know. I mean, at least it's another secondary wrestling source.
Yeah, but the thing is, a lot of people thought Billy Corgan, I don't know why, but they thought that he could save TNA. What does a guy from the leader of the Smashing Pumpkins know about the wrestling industry? That really bothers me, and I don't see how.
It seems like he's a pretty smart businessman, and if he's a big wrestling fan, you never know. He could be a mark like us, you know?
Yeah, but just because you're a mark doesn't mean you know how to work on wrestling promotion. That's right. A completely different topic. But then again, the guys at the What Culture Pro Wrestling YouTube channel might disagree with me on that one. If you guys want to know what I'm talking about, just look them up. That's all I'm going to tell you. As I'm waiting Osiris's response, and this is what it says. It said, "It's the Titanic grabbed the lifeboats." I got to agree with you on that one. I got to, you know what? At one point, even Matt Hardy put in a bid saying that he would like to buy TNA, and considering what he's done for himself in his career, completely reinventing his character as broken Matt Hardy and Brother Nero.
Sure.
I thought he could possibly do some good things, kind of trying to turn around TNA in a sense.
Definitely, and I know WWE is definitely interested, probably more so in Matt Hardy for the first time than Jeff Hardy, you know, so.
Yeah, and I think we talked about it a few weeks ago that if Matt Hardy made the jump to WWE, he would not have creative control over his character, and he would be gone about 300 days out of the year.
Right.
And that's one of the things that Matt Hardy enjoys right now when he's working TNA and the independents. You know, he's still getting a good chunk of change for what he's doing, and he has complete creative control over the broken Matt Hardy gimmick.
Surely.
And Osiris says Hardy's equals success, and it's hard to deny that. It's really hard to deny that.
Without a doubt.
But
which they say they could be back by WrestleMania next year.
It's very possible. If things continue to downward spiral in TNA, then I would not be surprised to see the Hardys, Matt and Jeff, reemerge in WWE.
Like debut the night after WrestleMania or something.
You know, it's very possible. It's very possible. But now I think we should very quickly look at Monday Night Raw and.
Yeah, we'll just think of Raw.
First off, it was
Goldberg.
He got only 2 words out, Brock Lesnar, and then out comes Paul Heyman. Mm-hmm. And one thing I will say this, you know, they had the Fat Wolverine known as Rusev out there, and I think not only did they make him look like a chump, but I think they wanted to prove that Goldberg can still do the jackhammer, which he really did. And
it was more of a suplex than a jackhammer.
Well, yeah, and well, you got to give him a little bit of credit. It's been 12 years.
Sure.
But
he does look old.
But I guess nobody has told Paul Heyman how to take a bump properly, because when Goldberg speared Heyman, it just looked ugly. Yeah,
but that might not have been all Heyman's fault. I mean, because Goldberg even looked kind of ugly when he was fighting Rusev a little bit.
Oh, Jesus, science. Hardys versus Headbangers at TLC.
Nice.
Oh,
it was
man.
good seeing that, and it was crazy because I was like, well, I saw the Headbangers in one match because I was thinking they were having this like qualifying matches to make it on the SmackDown tag team for Survivor Series, and I was like, they gotta have the Headbangers to make 8 tag teams, you know.
How is it that the Spirit Squad is getting more airtime than the Headbangers?
Yeah, it is kind of funny that, you know, I guess maybe because they're friends with The Miz.
I guess.
And Dolph Ziggler.
I guess. I don't know what else to make of it. Headbangers definitely have more lineage and more experience as a tag team than the Spirit Squad, and yet Spirit Squad has got their damn cheerleaders, and they got more airtime than the Headbangers.
Yeah, but going on Raw, we did see Let's see, the Battle Royal was something that happened, and as you mentioned, it was the Braun Strowman show.
Yeah, but you could tell that they put way too much focus on Braun Strowman, so WWE tipped their hand.
Especially when he went through the middle ropes outside the ring and was out there for like 3 or 4 minutes. You're like, oh God, well Braun Strowman's gonna come in and win, obviously.
Yeah.
And poor Sami Zayn, poor Neville. Poor Cesaro.
Osiris said Goldberg botched it, damn it.
Yep. But Raw, let's see, what else did we see?
What about Mick Foley? Do you find as of late that Mick Foley's been kind of forcing his promos a little bit?
Yeah, he gets too emotional every single time, you know. I mean, okay, we heard you last week get emotional about the sell, Foley. You know, are you selling the match again the same exact way? So, yeah, you can change it up a little bit, Mick Foley. Bayley and Nia Jax was interesting. You know, they kind of their NXT feud.
Yeah, but if they're supposed to be pushing Bayley towards a run at the Raw Women's Championship, why have Nia Jax go over?
I don't understand it. Maybe to insert her in the feud or remind people how dominant she is. But why have her go over Bayley? I don't get it.
Osiris says the Battle Royal was a waste of time. I have to agree.
It really was. They could have just named them rather than bury all those other people. TJ Perkins, he got the count-out win on
Brian Kendrick. So do they extend the feud now and have him have a rematch, one more rematch for the Cruiserweight title? Or?
I think so, and I think also it's leading toward a triple threat with Rich Swann.
Yeah, and he was kind of like the main feature almost of the 6-man Cruiserweight match, which was Rich Swann, Lindsay Dorado, and Cedric Alexander taking on Drew Gulak, Tony Nese, and Ari Daivari, the same team from the kickoff show.
That one wasn't on Hulu either.
Yes, it was a good match, and Osiris says Foley equals phoning it in. Yeah, you know, can't deny that. You know, but we're not going to fault Mick Foley too much. You know, being the legend and the Hall of Famer that he is. You know, but he's just got to not phone it in and not get as emotional as he has the past few weeks when it comes to that. You know, maybe every once in a while, maybe.
It can't be
not every week. Not every week. It just doesn't sell.
Surely.
Yeah, but Rich Swann had a wicked roundhouse kick finish on Drew Gulak to pick up the win. What was the point of, you know what, I was about to ask a question and I can answer it myself. Cesaro and Sheamus taking on the Shining Stars, time filler.
Yeah, and they were already in the Battle Royal. And like we saw their antics and their arguing before that, and then they're just force feeding more of it. And it's not that great. So, I don't know. It's already worn out, the gimmick. Let's see, the main event with the Roman Reigns and Jericho.
Yeah, we kind of knew that the title wasn't going to be dropped.
Well, obviously. And at this point, Roman Reigns, Superman. Kevin Owens saved his boy after a spear. He knew he was going to take the 3, so he kind of saved him.
Yeah, but how about what happened after with Seth Rollins making the save? This is what I said on YouTube earlier this week. There's 2 possibilities that we're going to see. One, a tag match next week with Jericho versus Rollins and Reigns.
Right. And
2, the possibility and the chances are good, and Osiris says X Division coming to an NXT near you. Well, you know what, Osiris, the Cruiserweights are getting their own show, 205 Live, starting November 29th. And 2, Seth Rollins being named to the Raw Survivor Series team. And the chances for that are really, really good.
It's happening. It's happening.
And Osiris says Raw is on the list.
Raw is indeed on the list.
You just made the list. But I did like what Jericho did on that Monday Night Raw to get heat from that crowd, denying somebody on the list. That's Jericho.
Because the list is over right now.
Yeah, and having him deny someone being put on the list.
They need to put the title on Jericho. I'm sorry. He's the best one on Raw by far.
I think when they make the turn,
well-known name on Raw by far.
Yeah.
Put the title on Jericho. Give him another run.
I think Osiris would agree with this one, that when they make the turn and have Jericho turn face and go against Kevin Owens, there's a strong possibility that Jericho will get the Universal Championship.
I think that could be WrestleMania, possibly.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Let's see. So my predictions for, well, is there anything else on Raw that happened that was interesting?
Not really.
Survivors. I mean, SmackDown was pretty good once again, as it's been for like the last 2-3 months. Other than, I'm ready for Ellsworth to go away too. And I think everybody on the SmackDown roster was.
Yeah. I hate James Ellsworth, and so does Osiris. I know that for a fact. Because on the Vinnie Mac show, they pretty much have a strong dislike for the no-chin wonder known as James Ellsworth.
First match was really interesting, though.
Yeah, because, again, I still don't have a handle on what they're doing now with Randy Orton and the Wyatt family. It's just bizarre.
It's very intriguing, and I want to watch it and see what happens, and it's got me tuning in and wanting to see what they do with it next week. They started with the no disqualification match against Kane and Randy Orton this week, and because Kane was a little pissed that he got a RKO out of nowhere last week, and Orton has apparently joined with the Wyatts, and the Wyatts came out and helped him.
I don't understand that. Like I said, I don't know what to make of the storyline and what they're doing there.
He's got like demon eyes now.
Yeah, you saw that, the glowing eyes backstage. I'd like to know how they pulled that off live. How they did that effect.
Special effect.
Out of curiosity.
Delay.
Nikki Bella and Becky Lynch taking on Carmella and Alexa Bliss, again showcasing SmackDown's finer women talent, both in looks and in ability. And Nikki Bella, ever since she's come back, she has very much impressed me. It was great to see her back.
Impressed me with that booty.
Osiris says RKW is a train wreck. Bliss hitting the DDT on Lynch to pick up the win. Considering fact, also remember next week they're going to be in Glasgow, Scotland, where the SmackDown Women's Championship is going to be on the line. I'm going to try to run through this because our time is running short. Spirit Squad and American Alpha to qualify for the SmackDown Tag Team Elimination match. American Alpha dominated. Grand Amplitude on Mikey to pick up the win. I got to call Miz on a botch during Miz TV. You're supposed to talk about Team SmackDown, not Team Raw. And you brought up Team Raw like he was talking about Team SmackDown.
Whoops.
Hashtag whoops.
Another confrontation between Daniel Bryan and Miz. I think this is another possible WrestleMania match. Miz versus Daniel Bryan in his return.
Man, did Kurt Hawkins ever get made to look like a chump?
Well, Kurt, did you hear the crickets when Kurt Hawkins came outside?
One super kick, and that was it.
Well, Kurt Hawkins is a complete failure.
That's why it only took one super kick.
Right.
That's why.
Usos, the Headbangers was a no-brainer as well. I mean, it was a classic finish for tag matches. Like they agreed to not make the Headbangers look bad because they still do independent stuff. Mm-hmm. Main event, Dean Ambrose and AJ Styles, and most surprising in this is Ellsworth kept on inserting himself in the match, even though he was banned from ringside.
Just thinking about it gives me a headache.
But real quick, you want me to run through my Survivor Series card? We got 4 minutes.
Well, very quickly, let me get into NXT because this week on NXT it was the second round of the Dusty Rhodes Classic. Now, because of the injury to Austin Aries, the broken orbital bone, and I've seen the pictures of that, and it's nasty. So the way they did it is instead of a 2-on-1 handicap match, they made it a singles match with Shane Thorne representing TM61 taking on Roderick Strong. I thought it was a great match, but Thorne would get a small package pin on Roderick Strong, so TM61 advanced to the semifinals of the Dusty Rhodes Classic. Now, DIY, which is Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano, were supposed to take on the Revival, but Shane Dawson claimed an injury, so the Revival forfeited. So DIY, they advanced by forfeiture. Now, we also had Rich Swann and No Way Jose. And Osiris says, no, a double till at least February. I'm trying to think of what that means. Rich Swann and No Way Jose took on the Authors of Pain. The Authors of Pain are basically like the new version of LOD minus the face paint. Well, you know, if you think back to the Blade Runners, in a sense, you know, with Sting and Warrior, that's what there are, minus the makeup.
Almost kind of view more of like the Powers of Pain or whatever.
Yeah, something like that.
Warlord and Barbarian.
Yeah, something like that. But the Authors of Pain would hit their last chapter finisher on Jose, so they advance. And the final match, T.J. Perkins and Kota Ibushi taking on Sanity, which is the team of, he's talking about Austin Aries. Took on the team of Alexander Wolf and Sawyer Fulton of Sanity with Eric Young. And on one of my videos, I said Alex Cross. It's actually Nikki Cross. So I do apologize for that botch on there. But I still don't know what to make. Have you seen anything from Sanity?
Mm-mm.
I've seen it, and I still don't understand what to make of them. I really don't. It's just kind of weird. I was talking about Austin Aries being A-double. Yeah, and no A-double until at least February. No, think about that. No Austin Aries until February. That's bad for NXT. But it was, for what it was, a good match. But Sanity would hit their suplex power slam combination on Kota Ibushi. So now Sanity is now in the semifinals. So it's very interesting brackets. Who do you see going into the finals very quickly?
I like DIY.
Yeah, I do too. They're going against the Authors of Pain in the semifinals, and the other semifinal match is TM61 and Sanity. So do you see Sanity, it says Sanity as DK 2.0? In a sense.
Yeah.
You know, minus the makeup. But they got the presence of DK.
Right.
So it's going to be very interesting to see where that goes.
I think we're out.
And I think I think we're off of TV, but we're still live on the stream. So that's pretty much going to be it for Sports Entertainment Tonight this week. Don't forget, next week, right here on Sports Entertainment Tonight, our very special guest will be Vinny the Guido. So be sure you tune into that and hear what he has to say on the product right now. So with that being said, he's Nick Nede Fuquay. I'm the Russell Gamer, Double B Bully Bujo. Thank you very much to Osiris in the chat room. And we'll see you next week right here on Sports Entertainment Tonight. Bye, everybody.